Good morning, folks. Thought I'd start today off talking about my tea hibiscus. This is the one that I had bought from a company some years ago, and I'd got a plant, and I think it was around end of May, June, something like that I got it. And that year, whenever I moved stuff into the greenhouse, the middle of October, it was nearly the end of October before it finally flowered in the greenhouse. This one is something like Rosalind Jamaican or something of that nature. They get huge. These being in pots haven't gotten as big as I have had some that were planted out in the yard, but still, I don't know, 8 or 9 foot tall probably, and which you can cut them back and get them to bush out and make more of a bush to it. I had cut some of the tops off of some of these and sent them to a friend up in North Georgia to see if she could root them, which they root pretty easy. This is the top off of one that I had moved into the greenhouse, and I don't know, it's been in here probably nearly a month now, and I've kept them in the greenhouse all winter. That one isn't going to root because the stalk looks rotten, but they keep on. It'll keep blooming for a long time. This one was one that it's the tea hibiscus, but it didn't have another name to it, and it had already flowered, and I let it go to seed, and then I cut all the buds off and moved it into the greenhouse. Well, I'd cut the buds a couple of weeks before I ever moved it in. And so now I'm getting all this new growth. Whenever I had let it go to seed, it had looked like it was fixing to die. And I'm tickled that it's coming back. And I see I'm getting as I do a lot of times in the greenhouse, I start getting a few aphids, so gotta do my little spray thing and get rid of them. But the ones down here, there's 3 down here that I'm just keeping the plant. Whenever they don't pollinate, the flower buds will usually just fall on off whenever after the flower is done and everything. And here in amongst the cratums and the moringa, which that's what this is my moringa that I had moved in. But I have the hibiscus, and I'm just growing it to have some blooms from time to time for some fresh tea. Being in the greenhouse, I try not to let butterflies and things get in to pollinate it, and which for some time now, a week and a half or so, I've had the doors here closed and keeping my humidity up as high as I could for the plants that I had just potted up. These were some other hibiscus here, some reds and pinks that I had done. And then the cratums are enjoying the heat and the humidity. These are some of the older, I think there's 2 reds and a pink in here of the hibiscus. But these usually die back, even in the greenhouse here. And they did last year. Last year was the first year I'd had them, and they died back in the greenhouse here. But then they came back from the root, and I'm told they'll do it outside. I have 3 of the red hibiscus already planted, and I hope to plant some more around and about. Getting some really nice new growth with the heat that had run up into the greenhouse and the high humidity, and it's like I've turned a whole new growing season on to some of my plants. I see a caterpillar there that has got to find a different place. Probably end up getting smushed. And I'm still watching my miracle fruit here. Has a lot of little fruits that I think are actually going to be set. I've seen a few start to fall off down here, but not many, so it's still watching it. My bougainvillea up here is flowering, and those of you that hadn't ever had bougainvillea, they have a thorn on them that will tear your bud up. And in some places here, the thorn will poke holes in my plastic. And so anyway, that's just going to be, this is the last year for this plastic here anyway. So we'll make it through the winter and we'll see where we go from there. But I was just going to share that little bit about the hibiscus. And I have a pink over here. Lady had told me it's a hybrid. I don't know. It's not very attractive to me. The flowers don't really turn me on or do much, but it does know it has a lot of flowers on it. The buds all down in here. And this is one I'd got from my ex year before last, and I rooted it. And that I can tell it doesn't go to seed, or I've not seen any indication that any of the pods are seed. And it's just, I had planted it, I'd had the tea hibiscus planted there to where I could tie it up on the awning brace, and I planted it here in hopes that the flowers would be more substantial than what they are. But anyway, it's a curiosity and it's doing well, and so that's what's going on for me today. I'm going to try to run the mower over this back here today, get everything leveled up. Blessings all.